Good afternoon, YouTube. It's your man, all the way, George Page, coming to you live on YouTube. And today is MuscleTalk Monday, episode 14. And we have a legend here, a lady who's been in the game for a long time. She's one of my favorites. I think I put it all-time top, my all-time best in the sport of female bodybuilding. She's IFBB pro, retired. One Miss Nancy F. Lewis. And she is coming in right now. Okay.
Hey, how are you, George?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. And like I said, we just started, and as we all know, you are a former IPF pro. You have started in the your career started about in the mid '80s, and then you competed good part through the '90s, and your last competition was back in 2012. So this is a big question. A lot of people are curious about. How did you really get into the sport of professional bodybuilding?
Well, my athletic career started early on when I was at the age of 11. I was a track and field athlete. I actually went to the Junior Olympics in the 400 relay. And then from there, I went to gymnastics all the way up into college. And then I think there was a time when puberty really set in. And I think at that time I was 116 pounds. And I was in my sophomore year in college. And it was just really difficult for me to do the standing backs, the full turns. And I just felt uncomfortable because I felt my spotter wasn't able to spot me because I was heavy. When now that I'm looking back, 116 pounds is just a spit in the bucket. Yeah. So I spoke to one of my friends and I said, I want to do something else. I've been athletic all my life, but I don't know what to do. And so a good friend of mine named Wayne, he says, well, why don't you come to the gym? Come down to Jardines and start training. So I got a book by Laura Combs, and I read the book on all the different, bicep curls, squats, all the things necessary to start training. And so that was my guide. And when I got into the gym, I met a young man who would later become a very important part of my career. And his name was Irv Rosenberg. And Irv seen me training one day and he says, you know what? I bet you can't do a show in 6 months. And so I said, you know what? I bet you I can. And he says, okay. He says, I'll help you prepare for your show. And that was basically how I started.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. And like I said, you had that background in athletic. That's what I mean. Like I say, when I do talk about female bodybuilders, because I do like different little stories about different female bodybuilders, I often mention that many of you ladies have athletic background, or some of you got into because of weight issues, and that's just pretty much true with a lot of you in the sport. Because you have a gymnastic background, you were track and field. I mean, it's just it's just amazing how you transition from one sport to another and to another.
Yeah, and like I said, for me, bodybuilding, that was my final stop. I loved track and field, but I was okay. I wasn't good at it.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
I loved gymnastics. I excelled in the uneven bars and the floor, but I was awful on the beam, and I was awful with the horse. So I didn't excel to the area that I wanted to excel. And bodybuilding just seemed to be, a really good fit. Definitely was a lot of work to get me where I was, but it was comfortable for me. And even though it was taboo, I liked it.
Yeah, because I mentioned Laura Combs. If people don't remember Laura Combs, she was like up there with Richard McLeish and Donna Oliver and a lot of the ladies that started in the early days of the bodybuilding. And that's great. Somebody use an example of, because some people might say Corey Everson, or somebody might say Richard McLeish. Some even might even say Carla Dunlap. I know you crossed many of these ladies during your time in the sport, and who did you think was the biggest influencer for female bodybuilding during your time and after that?
When I started, Carla was, she was on her way out. Corey was the main girl at that time. And I think if I had to look at structure and overall, overall markability for what they were looking for, To set the stage for the next couple of years, I think it would be Corey, because when I started, there were so many things that I didn't know that as I got older and matured, I learned. And one of those things was markability. Bodybuilding. Yeah, bodybuilding is a sport. This is true, but it's a business. And you know, looking at it that way, Corey had the overall package. It was sellable. A lot of people could attain that look, and she was likable. So I think she set, you know, she set the stage for that at that time. But there have been many after her who inspired me, who I really, really like and who I respect a lot.
And I know, like, you were up there with, I put you up there with Vicky Gates. I think Vicky Gates and you, and Laura Craval, and Dorian Kearns, Dorian Silverman, who I follow also on social media, and also Sammy Raddow during that time, and also those y'all were like the early precursor for a lot of ladies. Then I think you was also you know, there's Audra Harris White, who I remember, and the current Miss, you know, the current Miss Olympia, Andrea Shaw, kind of looked like her. I mean, it's like it's a clone almost, like it came from the same tribe or maybe the same, you know, family. You know?
And you know, like I said, those were the days, because remember you had Yolanda Hughes as well.
Yolanda.
Right, and you always seen the same girls at the same shows. So we really got a chance to, you know each other, and, you know, we hung out together. Some of us remained friends after the stage that, you know, we would correspond with. But we always knew who we're going to compete with. We always knew the list. It's going to be these girls. These are going to be in the top 5 or the top 10. I know what they're coming in like. I know what I have to do to be, you know, right there where they are. But yeah, those, I mean, like I said, those were the girls, and they were all good.
But like, there's so many girls that came in and came gone, and seemed like just recently I just did a video for Nicolas from France, and she competed at least 2 Miss Olympias. You know, today's her birthday. You know, happy birthday, Miss Madame Nicolas. And she had an amazing physique. But she's like, you know, and she was kind of like, well, like she's one of 3 bodybuilders that I have a big fan of from France. There was a Ma Mabir, you know, she had an amazing body. You know, there's one called, there's a Marisa Minos, she's from France. And now with, you know, a lot of the, like, you had a lot of women from like Krista Bach. I think you were competing still another time. You know, a lot of the European women were coming over, and who you saw coming from like over from the seas that really was impressive, that kind of like, wow, she just could have just, you know.
You know, you may not agree with me, but I liked Andrula Blanchette.
I love Andrula. This is a debate. I'm gonna say like this. Andrula should have won that Miss Olympia set. It's given 2 Miss Olympias. Now, I don't know why they did that. I mean, I know Valentina had that look that they liked at the time, but to me, Andrula should have won. You know, that was just that's a great debate. But as you remember, that those years when they did the weight classes, how did that affect you in your competition? That now you have to come in as a heavyweight or a lightweight.
It was difficult because I was always on the cusp, and I really had to really diet down, or so, you know, I'd say starve myself to be in the middleweights. And if I missed my cutoff, then I was in the heavyweight. So I wasn't big enough to be a heavyweight. I would be on the small heavyweight, not big enough to stand next to those other girls. And it would be difficult for me to be in the middleweight. So it was challenging to me. I felt comfortable in the middleweight. It was hard to make it to the middleweight, but my body was more comfortable as a heavyweight.
Yeah, because I think like this, you got to be beside someone like Iris Kyle, and you have Betty Pariso at that time, and Linda came back, and you know, and it's one thing. Then you have to compete with somebody against the lightweight division, like, you know, Dana Cadeau, and then you have, you know, another bodybuilder who just I just started following, and she started following me. It's Beth Roberts, and you know, and in those women in the lightweight division where you were a little bit bigger than them. But then, you know, they were, you know, you think that, hey, you know, I was always like this. I never like that. I like weights. When you go up, especially you come from the amateurs. There's no point for lightweight. You like just like there's only so few lightweights that even get to the pro level. Like Sue Price and Michelle Rebellette were one of the few. And then like this, we get to lightweight, you got to be like almost to a heavyweight size. When you come as a middleweight, you got to you got to come. You got to be close to a heavyweight, and then you come as a heavyweight, you have to become more conditioned and have a better look because I know you're heavier. You got to come in with a look that was more purpose. Like there's a talk about this. If you've heard of her, there's a woman named by the name of Natalia Kosasnova. People call her Amazonica. And she's just huge.
Right.
Yeah, she's huge. She's from Russia. And they was hoping that a lot of people was hoping that she would make an impact from this Olympia, but I think there was issues, overseas. A lot of bodybuilders can't make it over here because with the whole thing with the pandemic. And I think it kind of really messed up the season. I mean, there's some shows that came on, and I think a lot of people were hoping for, we're hoping by after 2021 everything gets cleared up, maybe things get maybe sort of back to normal. But like I said, one thing we want to talk about is that if anybody's here, like I got people out here on the board, like my man Marcus Bailey always come in and say, Marcus say, hey Nancy. There's Emmanuel L. He says hey, and we also have Michael Fears. He says hey. So they want to say hey to you, Nancy.
What's up?
Yay! But like I said, the one thing is that Nancy has a friend who's going through some issues right now, and we did a video about. I did a video for them, like doing a GoFundMe. So, like I say, if y'all are here, if y'all have, like this others, if y'all have a little change, something like that, I know it's after the holidays, everything like that, donate a little something. Also, I got a PayPal and her information. So, like I said, that's the hard part about being a bodybuilder is that money. And it's just, pay the spurt is crazy because had the Olympia just no more than a couple weeks ago. And the winner is Big Ramy from Egypt. And Ramy got a check for $400,000. Now, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and then the Miss Olympia, Audrey Shaw got $50,000, and that's it. What she did the race in Phoenix 2 weeks before that got $57,000 and a brand new car. But like I said, this is the thing. I did a video a while back. I did a live stream where I talked about it's that you ladies do this sport more for the enjoyment than for profit. Because really, it's just you don't make as much money as you should. Like I mean, like top prize for the last show was the Romanian Muscle Fest, and one of the bodies I follow, I'm a big fan of is Virginia Sanchez. She took $4,000, and the guys will still get more than that. So tell me, this is just like that's the struggle when you're competing was financial issues and sponsorship.
So when I did the Olympia, right, and my first Olympia was in '92, and I want to say that my whole career I was really, really blessed because I never paid for anything. Early on, like I said, I met John Jaguar in Delia, and they had Jaguar swimsuits. He sponsored me my whole career. So, I had the swimsuits that I needed. Most of the shows that I did, they were invitational. So they were already paid for. I did all invitational shows. So they were already paid for. And then early in 2000, I got a full sponsorship from BMS International in Germany. And I fulfilled my sponsorship in Germany. So I was sponsored for 2 years and then started a company with that owner. And that continued through my competitive career. But I will say at that time of the was 50,000. So 50,000 has been the prize money since I can remember. And that's very sad that it hasn't gone up. The men continue to go up. And looking at it from a business aspect, George, you're absolutely right. Female bodybuilders don't make any money in the sport unless they go outside of the sport and do other activities. So that can be anywhere from sessions to camps, so on and so forth. But if I, as a business person, invest $4,000 in contest prep, and I bring home $4,000, that's not a good business to me.
That's not breaking even.
Right, that's not breaking even. So, as a professional athlete, I strongly feel that the sport needs to change, that they need to be compensated for a hypothetical situation. If, I'm training in the gym and I get injured, and this is my job as a female bodybuilder, this is my job, this is what I do. I don't have insurance. Who's going to pay for that?
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for that, that pulled muscle or that the ACL that's torn so that I can compete? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The sport has to do that.
Yeah, another sport I follow is MMA, and I have a friend named this is my friend Coach Terry Harrison. He's the one who inspired me to start doing this and really focus on my passion. And we talk about how in MMA that it's not as profitable compared to, like, if you look at boxing, like the guys can make about $10,000. Like was a few years back, Floyd Mayweather, he fought MMA fighter by the name Conor McGregor. And Floyd, everybody knows his name is Money Mayweather. And he usually gets more, he gets like 100 million for a fight. And I think McGregor got maybe half that much. And McGregor didn't fight for almost 2 years because he was living off that money. And MMA fighters, depending on who you are or where you are in the rankings, usually they don't make as much. And then you also have to deal with injuries. Like right now, with the COVID hanging around, a lot of fighters are tested positive for COVID. Also injuries happens, and you fight, you're always going to 100%. That's the same thing with you, because like I know I talk to quite often with some ladies, and then often that one thing is like when you're training and when you're working out, and then when you're posing, that's stress on your body.
Correct.
And then after a while, that affects you. And then also the things of life, like Rodney Cashmere, who was I follow. She's a friend of mine. We did an interview. She's going through stage 4 colon cancer. And then, the bills and costs of that. And, it's not like with these like big time athletes who retire, they have these big sponsorships, they have money from the years playing, they can get insurance. And that's the harder part. Like it's like just like MMA fighters, bodybuilders are almost like free agents. And you have to find your own sponsorship, your own insurance to pay for costs. I mean, this is a hardship, cost of living.
Right. But this is, like I said, this has been the way it's been. Like I said, I've been in the sport. You figure I started in 86. And you're right. My last show was 2012. That's a long time, in the sport. And throughout that time, nothing changed. And that's sad to say. Nothing has changed. Now, maybe with Jake coming in, he has the Phoenix and some other shows, the ladies will get what they deserve. But, we're still free agents. The training, the supplements, the diet, that's expensive. And, a lot of them, yes, they may do personal training on the side, but if you have what I consider a job, a 9 to 5, where you got to punch a clock, right? And then you're getting ready for show prep. You and I both know show prep in itself is another job, and you don't have a sponsor for your suits. Those suits can cost you up to a band or more.
Yeah.
So where's all that money coming from?
Yeah, because I did a video where I said the live stream about a few months back where I talk about between suits, between dieting.
Right. Yeah, it's like I said, it's really expensive. And yes, it's you're a free agent, but I think that's why a lot of women don't stay in the sport, because it is a lot of wear and tear. It's expensive. And then if you have a personal life, it does affect your personal life. Bodybuilding is really a one-person sport. And if you're in it for a long time, let's say you have a significant other, they really have to understand what the sport is and why you do what you have to do, and the expenses that come along with the sport. But yeah, a lot of women that I started with, they were gone way before. They didn't last that long enough. I think George,
like being a because I've watched, like, I've been a fan since I was I've been a fan of bodybuilding since I can remember. I started out, my brother used to play football. He used to collect the old magazines, and I used to like the guys. Then the women, and that was just something different in my mind. And and I've seen a lot of women come and go. I've seen like people come in and just like Denise Rusowski. Remember that in '93 when she competed, and she competed for a long time as an amateur. Then got second at the at the Miss Olympia, and then she just poof,
Poofed.
you
Yeah,
know.
very. Yeah.
Yeah, and and then there was Tina Lockwood, who just, she
Hmm.
had a lot of promise, and she was just this huge girl, and she had a lot of following. She did a lot of photos and video stuff, and then she just went like she's like the Bobby Fischer of bodybuilding. She just came in with his big boulders, everything just going on, and just and then just boom, and it happens quite often, And you got stars right now like Alicia Young, you got
Yes.
Margie Martin, you got some like people like Hella, who's been around for a long, Hella
Right.
Trevino, and and you just recently just had I was going to come back, but then she got sick, and he had
That's what I heard.
Yaxenia Keene,
Hmm.
who's pretty much was like I say, she was in there a little bit. She's been a little bit longer. She did compete for a good while because she was focused on her. She has a gym and her business, and she came back because of Return to Olympia. She did the Rising Phoenix. I think she got 7th at that show. Then did the Miss Olympia, got 13th, and then she said she's done. She's out.
Yeah. And I seen Yaxini, like I said, I had the opportunity to look at the Rising Phoenix, and I thought that she looked good for the era that she left. She definitely
Mm-hmm.
wasn't out of shape, but the women now, it's totally different than where we were. And I will say I think she's in her 50s, I
Yeah,
think.
she's 54.
Okay, that's still a good age.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes longer for the body to respond, because once you stop doing everything that you're doing and you kind of take a little break, it takes a while for the body to get back in tune to say, okay, are we really back in show contest? So it might take her 2 or 3 more shows before she's really on top of her game.
Yeah.
The question comes to, do I want to really do 2 or 3 more shows of everything? But I think it'll probably take her 2 or 3 more shows before she's back on top.
Yeah, because like I said, another person that was also competing who was at the same age as her was Irene Anderson. Irene was just huge. Irene got 5th place at the Miss Olympia, and I think what it is, I often say this, that I think women, especially female bodybuilders, you really hit muscle maturity around about your 30s. Because Andrea Shaw, she just turned 37. She won the Miss Olympia on her birthday. Just turned
Okay.
37, and I think she hit her muscle maturity right about that time. Because she started reaching out as physique. She
Mhm.
she jumped to bodybuilding in 2019, second place at the Chicago Pro. She took
Right.
7th the Rising Phoenix. Then come around, she wins the Omaha, wins the Rising Phoenix, and then wins the Olympia. And that's
Olympia.
just something like almost like as good as if when that time Iris, because not Iris, Linda, Linda her from Michigan. Linda came in, she won the nationals, come in, and she wins the Miss Olympia. And that was the debate that some people feel like, that Bev Francis didn't come in her best condition that year. They said Bev came in better condition, that she probably could have won that show. That's the debate.
Linda's good. There's nothing to debate. She's good.
Yeah.
And she has structure. She has the total package, period.
Yeah.
There's nothing to debate about, should she win or should she not win? No. There's only one Linda. And like I said, when you look at Linda, when she steps on stage, when she starts posing, everything comes together. All right. When you interview her, she's personable. She is the total package for female bodybuilding. Now, when I
Yeah.
seen Andrea, at the Tampa Pro, I'm like, okay, she has a good structure, but when I got a second chance to see her at the Phoenix, I'm like, you know what? This girl is going to turn around and she's going to win the O. She has everything that a Miss Olympia needs. Structurally sound, easy on the eye. Everywhere that she moved, something popped, something happened for her. So, and like I said, in my opinion, she was a favorite going into that show for me. I said to myself, I wouldn't be surprised if she walked away with the O. I wouldn't be surprised if she is the poster for what female bodybuilding is going to be.
Yeah. Because I was just a while ago looking at your ranking, your shows you did, and you had some pretty good shows. Your best win was back in 2002 at the Jantana Classic, and I was a big fan of Jantana because it was really before, this year the Rise of Phoenix decided to do an all women's show, and Jan Tanner was the first true all women's show. Especially, I'm from North Carolina, and they often had Jan Tanner either in Georgia, in North Carolina, Charlotte, or in Virginia. And do you miss that show? Because it was a great show. I hate that they let it go. I mean,
Jan was Jan, and she really did put on a good show. She cared about the ladies. We always had everything we needed in the back room, and it was, like I said, it was a women's show. She was very flamboyant, which I liked, and I do miss the show. I didn't know why it went away. I thought it was a good show. But unfortunately it did, because we as female bodybuilders, we didn't have a lot of shows to do. And, we knew the Arnolds, but the Arnolds was invitational. You didn't know if you're going to get invited or not to the last minute. But the Jan Tana was always a good show. And like I said, I think I did that show twice. The first show, I think Denise beat me out. I was a runner-up, and Denise won that show. And then I think I returned the following year and won it. But yeah, and then I think after that they had to show maybe one or two more times, and then they just didn't have it anymore.
Yeah, because anyway, right here we have Dwayne Smith. He wants to say, "Hey Nancy," and like I say, everybody hit that like button. Say so we appreciate to Miss Nancy F. Lewis, because she is here, drop some knowledge for us, and just let us know about what happened back in those days. If you're true bodybuilding fans of classic bodybuilding, this is just a great opportunity, and it's an opportunity for me because I always loved her. I had a crush on you. You, Laura, Vicky, Bev. I was a teenage boy when I was coming up, but now I'm a mature man, and I hate to say, but this is also I would think about, as you said, the one thing you said about your honor was invitational, and Miss International was one of the second biggest shows next to Olympia. And then back in 2013, they decided to drop it. And then just about 2 years later, the IFBB side dropped IFBB. One of my favorite movies is I love the whole Chris Nolan Dark Knight movies, and the part is when Ra's al Ghul, played by Liam Neeson, takes to him. The way we want to get to your enemy is you walk behind them and stab them in the heart. And that's not like what they did to your bodybuilder. They walked behind you and stabbed you in the heart.
Right. Well, there was always a debate that female bodybuilding wasn't popular, that they didn't sell tickets, that they couldn't stand alone on their own. So, they would always put the Olympia, men and women together. That was even when Wayne D'Amelia was, over IFBB. This is before Jim Mannion came. He was MPC at that time. There was the debate that female bodybuilders, it's not popular. They don't sell tickets. And then the debate came, like when Kim Shavesky was the Miss Olympia, that was too much, that no one really wanted to see that. It wasn't attainable, that we were going to have to scale down. They want you to be separated. They don't want to be overly striated or overly lean. So then, they didn't want you to be too big. So then those rules came out. Okay, we want you to be this way, but we don't want you to be that way. We want you to be feminine. And then there was a time that and then the breast implants came. That was early on to make you look feminine. There was a rule between the females that they would say, okay, well, they're saying that if you put a bag over your head, they should be able to tell if you're a man or a woman. So that and that whole concept was, remember, you have a muscular woman, and if she doesn't have the breast implants, right? Because if she has breasts, automatically she's a girl. But if she doesn't have breasts and she has striations across the chest, then there's a question, okay, is that a man, or a woman? And it would be the same concept that if you're walking down the street and somebody's walking from behind you, and you and I both know that a woman in shape, she has that skinny waist. She has nice glutes, broad shoulders, right? And and if she turns to the profile, right before you even look, because most people look at the body, they'll say, "Oh, that must be a dude," but then she has a chest. Oh no, that's a girl. And so they would say, they should be able to tell if you're a man or a woman on stage. That used to be one of the concepts that they came out with. So there was all these things. Okay, so you don't want us to be this way, but you want us to be this. You don't want us to be smooth, but you want us to have separation. You don't want us to be overly big, right? But okay, so then what do you want? And it was that way for a long time. After each Olympia, depending on how the sales went, depending on how the marketability went, they would change. Okay, you guys are getting too out of hand. We want you to scale back. How can you tell an athlete not to train hard in the gym, not to come in condition or come in somewhat condition? That was, so it was really difficult for us because they didn't know what they wanted. And if you don't know what you want and you're judging me, how am I supposed to know how to present my package?
Yeah, because I did also the last stream where I talked about the pros and cons of breast implants, and you're on my list is the women who did not do it, like you, Virginia Sanchez, Laura Beniti, Paula Suzuki, I think who else I mentioned? It was there, Dr. Dina Westfield. There was a long list of women that did not bend the knee to silicone, and I often talk back and forth with Dina Westfield on through social media, and also she emailed herself because we're trying to set up an interview someday. And she mentioned that she said that she didn't like the idea of breast implants because it feel like it ruins the physique. And I've seen some women who have overdone it, like a rabbit bova. There's a bodybuilder out of Italy called Barbara Caridi. She just competed at the Europa Championships over in Spain. And some said that the reason why she didn't place higher like she should have because her breasts were too big. And I remember I did also talk about how Corey was kind of like the first woman to start the breast implant thing, especially one of those last, I think around about the 86, 87 when she started. Because we started, she was pretty, regular. But then people got to remember, breast tissue is fat.
Right.
And it takes fat to develop muscle. Muscle feeds off of fat. And that's what memory tissue is. And that's one of the side effects of when you are competitive for your bodybuilder, you're going to lose breast tissue.
Correct.
But it shouldn't matter that if you're not, the fact that you don't have, daughter parting size boobs or shouldn't matter. You're still a female.
Right.
It shouldn't matter about your breasts because I have boobs and I'm a guy. I'm a fat guy, but I have boobs. But
George, so here's the thing. This is what I like you to consider. So when you talk about implants, and I remember, and it was very hurtful for me because I was a kid at that time. Well, I was in my 30s, but I was a very young 30s when I won the USA. In 91, I was in my 30s, but I wasn't a mature 30, because my whole life was being structured and studying in sports. So I hadn't really lived. And it came to me through the grapevine that I needed to close the gap in my tooth, and that I needed implants, and I would look much better.
Well, no one told Schwarzenegger to close the gap in his tooth.
But that's a guy.
I know. Double standard. I think that makes you look sexy. That makes you unique because like Esther Roll, a lot of great, beautiful. Some people say that's a sign of intelligence. Like I got a little kind of lines, but that just makes you interesting and make you different from everybody else. Because no one that's the problem is it's too much that cookie cutter idea of what somebody should look like. Like everybody wants to look like one of the biggest women right now popular. You have the physique women. Everybody want to look like Shanique Grant, and Shanique's all right, but then she wouldn't be able to stand up against somebody like Andrea Shaw or Margie V. Martin. Oh, this is my man, Coach Shader. Is he smashing the button? Yeah, Coach, smash the like button. Thanks, you, Coach, for coming by. And that's the idea, the cookie idea of what they want. That's why, remember originally when it was just female bodybuilding. Then they created fitness, supposed to be the alternative. Then they created figure, which is offset of female body of physique, of fitness. Then you have bikini, you got physique, and now you have a new one called wellness, where the girls are a little bit more bottom heavy, thick in the thighs, bottom heavy.
Thick. And you say thick.
Yeah. And then I was talking with Ronnie Lee in a while back. So we're thinking about maybe this should create another division for the women. And I suggested it's called a master division, where you have women that are a little bit older who are hitting their strides. And there's a lot of lists of women who probably will great that division, like Annie Ricovio. She still looks like she's in good shape. Annie Riccio, she looks like she's in great shape. I've seen there's a lady I follow by the name of Maria Flores. She's like 58 and she's in amazing condition. Let's see. I'm still looking at you. You still look like you can probably pop on the stage anytime you want to.
It'll take me a little bit of time, but I can. You know what? I'm comfortable in myself that if you said, Nancy, let's go to the beach, let's hit the beach, I would look good in the swimsuit. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I in show shape? No, it'd take me some time to,
Yeah.
But it would be nice to, because I know there's a lot of athletes that are around my age that are retired but still train, and they can definitely still, step on stage and look good. This is a sport of longevity, and like I tell some of my best friends, if you do everything right, if you don't abuse it, you can stay in this sport, a long time. It just depends on how much bullshit you want to, put up with. But you can stay in the sport, a long time. You take care of yourself, you do things right, the sport will be good to you.
Well, I got a question for my man, Coach Sherrod Harrison. This is my man. He gave me a new moniker. He want me to call myself the king of female bodybuilding, but I call myself the emperor of female bodybuilding because you remember the history. Yeah, you remember the history that when the French got rid of the King Louis, Napoleon didn't call himself a king; he called himself an emperor. So I think I'd rather go with the ranking of emperor. It's more prestigious. But anyway, Coach, I say, do you still find time to work out after retirement?
Oh, absolutely. This is part of my life. So, a lot of people ask me that, do you still train? Yes. I train as if I am going to compete. It is like today is my day off, but I trained yesterday. I trained the day before. I'm on a 4-day on, 1 day off. I still do my cardio. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at all. I just don't compete. I have a job, that I have to do. I have a 9 to 5, so to speak, that I'm responsible for. But, I do my 9 to 5. I train. I have my other responsibilities that I do is structure. And yes, by all means, I got to look good.
Yeah. I want to with one thing. This is for the smokes. Give him a nice bicep shot for the smokes. You can do.
I don't think I got to come way back, huh?
Yes, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you guys for your wet dreams tonight. She's still in great, awesome shape, and even though she's not competing anymore, she's got upset. Now, instead of you are doing a charity for a friend, and if you want to explain the situation and what's going on for your friend and what's happening, because we set up a GoFundMe.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know. They know me only from the bodybuilding. Bodybuilding was my first passion. Animals are my second passion. So a friend of mine bought a property with intentions of it becoming a golden age sanctuary. And if anyone knows what golden age is, that's for animals that are past the retirement. Those are animals that nobody wants because they either have issues or they can no longer serve their purpose. And we often see that people that have horses that are 25 or 26, they don't want them anymore. So they put them on the pasture, they colic on the pasture, and they die out there with no one to care for them. It can be the same with dogs. My dog is 15. He started, he wears a diaper now. He has dementia. He, spins in the circle. So they bring him down to the shelter. Why are you spinning your dog? Oh, he's old. I don't want him anymore. Yeah, it's a reality. Once a dog gets a certain age, there's a lot of people that they don't want them. They don't want their animals. So they just, harshly, I'd say you just throw them away. So, so the person bought the property, had the inspection, the realtor suggested an inspector, and the inspector gave the home a green light. Probably a couple of months into it, the home flooded underneath. And there was AC in the beginning, but the ductwork flooded. So, you can't have a new AC unit if it floods underneath. But not only that, there's some problems with the moisture barrier. So many issues came in the house. I think the washer leaked one day, and the valves in the where the washing machine was also leaking. Moved the washer and dryer. The dryer fell through the floor. So then the home had issues. It should have never passed inspection. Insurance would not cover it because they said these issues were here before you bought the house. We're not going to cover this. So now this person is in the home. They got a second inspection, totally proved that the first inspector was grossly negligent. The first inspector is like, well, I don't have any money, went through the whole attorney thing, spent thousands of dollars. I don't have any money. I don't have any insurance. So, okay, you don't have any insurance. How am I going to fix this? Like I said, had somebody come in for the mold, and they were like, you do have mold, and you have mold in the walls. We can't fix this. We can gut this whole place, and we can fix it that way. But, a lot of the properties around this area are mobile homes, are modular homes, are manufactured. So it's not a house. So what sense does it make to gut a manufactured house? It doesn't. So, and if you gut it, then what are you going to do? Because there's no moisture barrier. The floors are caving in. That's not going to make any sense. So basically the home needs to be replaced. The person, has already taken in a couple of animals from, rescue that nobody wanted. So now you have these animals in the home, the floors are collapsing, they're trying to patch up as you go along. And then they have, hooved animals on the property as well that they're caring for. They did some numbers. In order to replace it, you're looking at least, $100,000 to replace it. Because even if you get a modular home for 70, you still got to remove the one that you have on the property. They still got to slate it. They still got to do other things to it. You still got to have a place to relocate your animals to while you're moving. Then you still got to move somewhere where you're supposed to stay. So it's been a struggle. And then most people know that when you purchase a home, any kind of home, it's difficult to turn around and go to the bank and say, I need another 100,000 on top of the 170 that you've already given me. Right. So, and then if you sell it, because the home isn't worth anything, if you sell the home, let's say you bought the home for 170 and you bought the property and you tell the bank, you know what, I got to walk away from this. And they say, okay, well, the land is worth 60. You bought it for 170. You still owe us, so much money. How is that supposed to, if you're walking away and you're still owing money, that's not a good business move either. So she's really in a pickle, basically. She's really in a pickle. She's trying to fix it. She's been trying to fix it for a long time. It's not really working because she doesn't have all the finances that she needs to say, hey, I have this much. I can put, so much down on a new mobile, tear this one up, bring my animals in, bring at least 2 or 3 more hooved animals that are in need of a home, onto the property. Put some fencing. So that's what it's about, because that was the reason the property was bought, because nobody in their right mind wants 3 or 4 acres. That's a lot of land to keep up. You got to mow it. You got to check the fence line. There's a lot of things that comes into play when you have property. So, if it wasn't for the animals, I can assure you that they probably would have bought maybe a half an acre or a quarter of an acre, but a 3 or 4 acre property, that's a lot, because again, you got to have a mower. You can't do a push mower. You got to have a ride along mower. Right. And the horses and the whatever you have, they're not going to eat all that grass.
No, they need feed, they need cleaning, they need, the veterinarians got to come out there and check them out. Same with the dogs. You just got to feed them table scraps. They usually like to have something like, especially they get older, they have to have something like, nutritious and healthy for them. And like I said, I can understand taking care of somebody, because for almost 5 years, like I said, I told you, my mother passed away. I took care of her for 5 years, and that's a lot of work to take care of somebody. And that's with a human being. But animals can't say anything, speak for themselves. And, it's just, and people are kind of like this. People can be just about as abusive to each other as it can be to an animal. And like I said, the GoFundMe is in the description. So if y'all, like I said before, I understand it's after the holidays. It's the pandemic is hurting a lot of people financially, but if you got $2 or $3, sometimes that's all it starts, because that can help out, and it's help out somebody who's helping out animals. If you love animals, that's important. But anyway,
and even George, even if they can't donate, share. Let other people know. And I updated the page on her behalf, and it was unfortunate. in the picture, you see two horses. One is an Arab and the other is a Mustang. Well, they had to put the Mustang down
Oh
because
my God.
she was extremely sick. She would collapse on the property. And you and I both know if you've had horses, if a horse goes down and can't get up on their own, there's a major problem. You
Yeah, it's
know,
like it.
and yeah,
Yeah,
and
like
that
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
like
that
because
uh,
I grew up around farming. I didn't grow up around horses a lot, but I grew up around farming. I understand that taking care of animals, that's a lot of thing to do. But like I said, it's just this is something if you see the GoFundMe, share it. Get it out there, people. We got to help out her friend, and help these animals because it's a good thing somebody who's taking that time and doing that for them, and helping out these creatures because you know what, animals can't talk to themselves. They can't. It's one thing is out there in the wild, but then you have domestic animals.
right.
They depend on people. So like I said, oh yeah, Michael Fierce told me telling you the tooth gap is sexy.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah,
And
but like this is the thing about is there is that subsection to female bodybuilding, which is the fetish part of it. And you mentioned before, yeah, you mentioned before that a lot of women have to do stuff because I remember I saw an interview this bodybuilder did, and he was talking about remember Teresa Bostic.
yes,
And years ago, they were friends. They used to work out together. And she always carried a bag. And one day he asked her, "What's in the bag?" And she opened up, and it was just nothing but money. And a lot of people don't say there's a fetish side to it where there's sessions, there's video cam, and there's quite a few bodybuilders who even have OnlyFans pages.
yeah,
And often I follow a lot of social media of fanboy pages with all female bodybuilders, and this one guy, this is a true story, and it's gonna be crazy.
okay, I'm listening.
Okay, this guy told me a few years ago he went to a show, and he's just showing having time, and then you hit the finals. This is what the finals where they had the with the pose down and everything, and then there's a commotion in the back, and then the guy said, "What's going on?" And there's this guy getting dragged off, by security with his pants down his legs, and
Yeah, we
uh,
going.
he told me this. He told us
Okay,
he posted it on. We do like this was like a what was it? Chat room. We were in a chat room,
okay,
and he said like he sat like he was sitting beside one of the girls' trainer and said, "Oh, that guy comes by every other show. He gets caught. I mean, and I know there's a lot of guys who have that mentality. Like you have guys who don't like it. And you have the guys who like it a little too much. You
right.
know, and you ever like when you're out and about, you have to ever meet up with those type of guys. Like you make the guys like are you a man or a woman? Or you might say, wow, you're Nancy Lewis. I mean, I had dreams about you. There's a trash can loaded with Kleenex because of you.
Honestly, I can say that a lot of people don't even, when I'm walking down the street, I stay covered up. So they may think that I'm athletic, but they don't know who I am. In my younger years, when I was very active in the sport, I did get, did get approached, but I've been fortunate that I've never been disrespected. And then I don't have an approachable look on my face. So like, don't come to me with no crazy talk. So most of the men that I've met are very respectful. Either they know who I am and they respect me, and they'll give me a compliment. But I can say when I first started, when I was really, really early on, this was like in the early 90s, and I was going clubbing with my friends, went to a club, and there were some rude things said. Oh, is that a girl or a guy? So I've had that early on. And my friend, he handled it really, really well, because normally, those are fighting words. We about to go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I said, no, he's just ignorant. So we're just going to keep it moving. But I haven't had, like I said, I haven't had that since, I think, because women bodybuilding, it's more popular now than it was before. People know that women are very athletic, and we come in all different shapes, sizes, and forms. And I'm very happy to say that now, women, come on, we have a whole movement that we didn't have, back in the early 90s. you hear a lot of things, we're doing this, we're sticking together, we're fighting for this right, we're fighting for that. So we're really on the forefront. And this is just, a piece of the puzzle of who we are and what we represent. So they may say something behind my back, but I have not to this day had anybody come up talking some crazy mess to me.
Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've had people message me and say, "Oh, I think you're this and I think you're that," and I say thank you, and I keep it moving. Thank you for the compliment, and that's it. But don't send me your parts because I don't want to see all that. That's not going to impress me.
Well, like I said, I just answered a question for Emil L. And he says, "What's your opinion on men as well as women who don't find female bodybuilders attractive or try to ridicule it?" And she pretty much answered your question, Emil. That she had a few, but generally people are pretty decent with her. But I have right here. I have always great to see a legend like Nancy Peck, Dance Queen. That's from Bales. I think it's BELS. I think that's what it is. And that's great because, like I said, there's this mentality that some guys, like I often, like I said, I follow quite a few social media platforms, or some guys, they have this mentality like this is something else they say, like when you ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard, and that's and that's pretty good because if guys feel like, some people don't feel like that being a female bodybuilder, you can't be attractive, but it's up to you as a man. If you feel how you feel comfortable with, if you feel, and then I often hear people say like, "Oh, you like her like that? Well, you gay or something?" Say, "Whoa, wait a minute." It's one thing if I had a crush on Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I do, and or if I fantasize about Frank Zane or maybe or somebody like Dexter Jackson, that's one thing. But you are a female, and it's just, and I'm from the South. And I grew up around women with a little more full figure, a little thicker. I like women like that, but also I find women with little muscle. I'm a big fan of track and field because you mentioned track and field. My favorite was back in the day was like Gail Devers and FloJo and Carmelita Jenner, and they were just amazing. They were just amazing. These women who were athletes and strong and these great bodies, and and I remember it was one guy talking about how when he was younger, he used to, be part of the equipment group with the track field. He used to have to put their feet behind the when you put your legs, we put your feet into the thing for to get ready. And he said that y'all track girls were wild. Y'all be wild, and it was, y'all had fun. And that's just, that's I think that women's sports is just like I said before. I'm a fan of MMA and also a fan of boxing. And those sports are not, people don't see that. Don't want to see the idea of women being so aggressive in that sport. And that's the same with female bodybuilding, because y'all have to be, you're not aggressive really, but it's more of you have a presentation. Right. And I think people just kind of be put to side by it. But even though you're not considered, in some mind people are athletes, you are athletes. You train, you diet, you have to get ready. I mean, and it's say for the cost of being a bodybuilder, especially for women, is really high. Because now it used to be just a posing suit. You had to have at least 2 or 3 posing suits. Mm-hmm. You had to have jewelry, makeup, hair done. I mean, you have to, because they want the idea to push the idea that femininity is just as important as masculinity.
Right. And that's why I talked about the whole package. And that's what, to me, like I said, I like Andrea Shaw. She has the whole package. And, getting back to, some men liking female bodybuilding, some men saying, no, it's too extreme. Well, there's somebody for everybody. And one of the things that I learned early on, a man who is going to step outside of the norm, because we aren't the norm, and be comfortable with me. Let's say if it's me and I'm not anything like he's ever dated, but he likes me. He caught feelings and he likes me. I'm his woman. Okay. He's already taking around his family, right? And his boys say, man, she bigger than you, blah, 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 blah. If that man can stand through all of that and some of maybe the disrespectful things that he's going to be getting, that's the man that I want to be, because that tells me that he's secure within himself. Yeah. This is the woman that I like. This is the woman that I'm claiming. I don't care what you say. This is who it is. But if there's a man, and like I said, and that's one of the good things that I like about the sport, because all those other people that are insecure, they're not going to approach me anyway. And I don't want you. because I'm not going to change. I'm not going to get smaller for you. I'm not going to, and then remember you mentioned there are some guys that like big females. This is who I am today. This is who I'm going to be tomorrow. I'm not going to change for you. I am who I am. So you're going to have to accept me with all my flaws. And if you can do that, then we can be good.
You get that, guys? You get that? You want Nancy, you approach her like this, ask her like this. Hey, excuse me, is your husband married? Because you got to be comfortable. Because like I said, you have to be comfortable who you are. Because me,
Right.
I'm comfortable who I am. I might have a little ticks or something, but you got to understand this is just different form of a different woman.
Yes.
And if you're a man, you're comfortable with that. There's guys who like women who are very fat. There's guys who like women who are very skinny. There's guys who like women who like look like Kim Kardashian, or there's guys that like women look like you. And it's about your taste and your preference as a person.
Right.
That's about all it is. If somebody's not into you, then why worry about it? Why worry about why she has more muscles than you? Why you worry about why she's like? I know you should get a lot of this, like Nancy, you're a pretty girl. Why you have so many muscles?
Right, I do. Yeah, and I still, why did you do that to yourself? I'm like, what are you talking about? No guy's gonna want you. I said, well, that's fine because I don't want an insecure man. So, if he cares for me, if he really cares for me, he's going to take me around his friends. He's not going to be ashamed of me, and he's going to be by my side. For those guys that, like you said, there's some people that they want you behind the door, closed doors. They don't want you in the light. They want you in the dark. If you can't have me in both, then you can't be on my team. So you're right. There's someone for everyone, and we are women. What we do, we have to be aggressive in the gym. We have to be aggressive on stage because that's our job. That is the sport that we chose. But when we come off of that, we are a totally different person. Most of us, we're kind, loving, and we want a man to open the door. We want a man to, if I'm going grocery shopping, you best be at my car, get my groceries, put in my car, bringing them into the house. Okay. So we want those things. But when it comes to the gym and my job, I got to do what I got to do because you know what? I've invested this time. I'm trying to make this money. And that's something that maybe they don't understand. When my baby has to train, when my baby is on showtime, when she's in show mode, this is who she is. When she's over with that, that's my little, love bug. And
because the one thing is I think often I hear guys say the worst time is when you're dieting. Oh my God, the dieting. You're all of a sudden you're the Hulk. And like I said, and one thing you gotta remember also, you like to have your feet rubbed. Hey baby, you come home. You want the bath water done for you, baby. You need anything? You gotta remember. Always remember, no matter what you are, you're still a woman, and you like those things that we do as men. And we men gotta remember that. Sometimes, like I said, like I was raised by my mother. I have 3 sisters, and I always appreciate a woman. And I know what a woman has to do. There's a lot of things that you women have to do for us. And we got to remember, we have to do the same for you. We can't forget that fact. We can't look past the fact yes, you might, bitch more than I do. And, and you might be a little, more muscle, but you're still a female. And you like that time when we're holding your hand and we tell you we love you and we support you. And I know like a lot of these ladies who have husbands, who have boyfriends, who have girlfriends, who have wives, they love when their spouses are there supporting them, saying, like, I watch videos of shows where the guys say, yeah, baby, do that, yeah, do that, yeah, baby, and that keeps your spirit going. And I think it's harder for some when you don't have that support, and sometimes even worse when you don't have the support of your family. And those are people that should get your back the whole time.
Yeah, and I like to say, George, I've been so blessed, and I'm so grateful. When I first started, my mom and my dad, I said, well, Daddy, and Mommy, how do you feel about me doing this? Because they were with me for gymnastics, they were with me for track and field. And my daddy was like, if that's what you want to do, he calls me Nanny. He said, that's what you want to do, Nanny. I'm okay with that. My mom is like, I support you in whatever you want to do. So I've always had support, from my parents or whatever decision I've made. And like I said, the last, my ex, he was very supportive, even though he didn't understand, the sport. And the ones that did understand the sport, they were at my shows with me. They carried my bags, for me. They would sometimes prep my food or ask me, hey, how you feeling today? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I did this for you, so you don't have to do it when you come in. I fed the animals, so that helps, a lot. Somebody that understands what you're doing. Now, when that's all over, and then they know, okay, my baby's done with her show. All right, I'm gonna take her on holiday. Are we gonna go on the holiday? Or this and that. Then it's, I'm saying, okay, that's my man. Let me go in and cook him some food. Let me make sure, he got what he needs. He getting home at 5 or 6 o'clock. Let me make sure, his food is ready. However the relationship that you have. Like I said, the bodybuilding, it's temporary. It's what we do. But at the end of the day, George, you're absolutely right. We are females, and I know for me, I like my man to, like, if I'm going grocery shopping, I got my bags, I want to walk in, baby, what you got? Oh, I got like 10 bags. Oh, baby, don't worry about it. I got them for you. That's, I mean, and vice versa. You had a hard day. Okay, what you need? I got you. So, I think it's difficult to find someone like that, but it is doable when you find that person that, vibes with you. While you're in the sport. So
right now I got my man. This is my man, Robert the poet. We call him Robert the Savage. He does WMA. He's called Robert the Savage. You got to catch him. He really talks some junk. And Robert, like to say, he's like, smash the like button. Salute to me, George Page. Thank you, Robert. Salute to Miss Nancy Lewis also, because she's really giving you a side of the sport that a lot of people don't see. Because everybody just see you just big muscular women like on the stage, like like and it's just that y'all are still human beings, y'all
right.
athletes, and bodybuilding's been around for at least 60, 70 years, going back to the early phase, like it was originally a vaudeville act. We had muscle women, breaking chains with their muscles, and then originally when it started out, it was more like bikini. Women were wearing high heels. They were more of a pageant look,
Yes.
And then the story, like I did a video where I talked about how it evolved from originally more like a pageant look to more to like Rick McLeish and to Corey, to Linda, to Kim, and it just kept evolving till what we have now, like the Andrea Shaws, the Roshana Boswells, the Alicia Youngs. I mean, the women who are coming up now because of women like you, and and one person who I always feel like was almost like your clone was Kim Perez.
I have not seen her in forever.
Yeah, I think somebody said last time she competed was back in 2014, and I'm trying to remember if I ever saw y'all two on the stage together.
I don't recall us ever being on the stage together. I think when she did a show, I was at that show as an observer, but we never competed together. Yeah. We were kind of like in the same area. I think she may have come to the Tampa Pro at one point in time, but I wasn't competing. I was there at the show, and she was there at the show, and we hooked up. But they were, like I said, there were a lot of women, good women at that time, and I can say that I would not change anything, because people always say, oh, if you had to do it over again, would you still, be in the sport? Absolutely. This sport has allowed me to travel internationally, to live internationally, to meet all types of, wonderful people. I would have never had that opportunity working your basic 9 to 5, ever.
Yeah, because that's a great experience that you never take away from. But anyway, I do like to really appreciate your time, because I know this is your day off and you want to relax and whine a little bit. But like I said, if anybody got any questions for her right now while you have her here, if you have like how just anything that's off your mind, let me know right now. Because like I said, this is a lady who's really, she came here, and I reached out to her some time ago, and we just and this is just for me a great opportunity, because this is like my technically like almost my fourth with a professional bodybuilder. I mean, I done one with kind of like I did one with Alicia Flario, if you know her on IG. And it was kind of like we just were talking back and forth from IG and we recorded it. Rhonda Lee. I also have a lady by name. She does physique by name of Brittany Big Lemonade Brooks. She's out of Texas, and she just turned pro a while back. All was it? How do you feel like this was something I just thought about? Now, physique when it came out, would you think you would have maybe people think? Will you think be more accustomed to the physique, or you think you're more of a bodybuilder?
I would say when physique came out, I would have been more in physique. There was a point in time when early on that I would have said, you know what, more bodybuilding. But in my latter shows, I would have said could have definitely done physique. I would have had to come down a little bit, but definitely physique. But if you look at it now, physique is only one step away from bodybuilding.
Yeah, because truthfully, there's divisions. You know, there's fitness, and there's that division called figure, which is from fitness. And the figure girls are not that far from the physique girls. Quite a few of the figure girls have went up to physique, and I think I mentioned this how what you should do is like now you have wellness. There's no purpose for figure. You either tell like this. I think they should get rid of figure. And either tell the girls, either you go back to the fitness, you either do wellness, or you go up and do physique. Because like the chick who Shanique Grant, who's been Miss Olympia twice, she's too small for bodybuilding. And she like if they do create like remember they have the divisions. I think physique should be called women's lightweight. And then if she could be against somebody like Andrea Shaw, unless by some miracle she's not gonna beat Andrea Shaw.
Right, but if you look at the pattern historically, remember how they tried to change
20% rule.
Yeah, the 20% rule are the classes. They went to the weight classes. Then they added in another group of something because the physique was technically there for the women who didn't want to be bodybuilders, who didn't want to be as muscular or striated. But now those same women are coming over into bodybuilding. They almost look like little small bodybuilders. Mm-hmm. They're not big enough to stand on the stage with your big bodybuilders, but they're almost neck and neck. So I mean, at the end of the day, all these different classes evolve so quickly into the class that they're trying to avoid. It doesn't make sense. Physique was for physique so that they wouldn't have to do bodybuilding. Now you look at those physique girls, and it's like, she looks like just a smaller bodybuilder.
Because like I said,
it doesn't make. I mean,
really? Because like the current champion was physique. Then you have a couple other girls like I mentioned Rashada Boswell, Nikki Chartrand. Who else? There's like 2 or 3 just that women who competed, who started out in physique, like Myla Ash, who 2 weeks before the New York Pro did a physique show, and they told her, might need to do bodybuilding. Then she did New York Pro, which brought back female bodybuilding, and then she won. And then got to the Olympia and took 4th place. And you look on the stage, how much smaller she was compared to, Margie and Irene and Hella, and most definitely Andrea.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, as far as the direction that it's going, I have the slightest idea. I'm just going to sit back and watch it unfold. But I do like that female bodybuilding is back. I like that the Miss Olympia is back. I hope that it stays. I understand that it was sold out, which is fabulous. And I hope that, in years to come, it continues. I do really hope that they change the pay, because women deserve much more. We work just as hard. Well, actually, I think our work has to be harder than the men, because we have to manipulate our hormones, to come in that hard condition. So for us, it's a lot of manipulation, and it is time. A lot of time spent. Like you said, it's expensive. And when you're looking at 50 G's, out of everything, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah, because I know they're not going to give Andrea what big Rami got, but at least I would say, I think she should at least get at least $100,000. And, that's enough, because, that could be enough to help her out a little bit. Because you always think about it, the money. See, we all know the Olympia is the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. You got the Olympia Super Bowl bodybuilding. You have the FIBO, which is kind of like the all-star weekend for bodybuilding. And
Mm-hmm.
they're throwing, and these advertisers throwing money, but it shouldn't matter where the money goes. If you get the money, okay, like Big Ramy, he gets $400,000, and then after taxes and everything else, he's going to walk away with a cool $250,000, just about. And then Andrea, she gets $50,000, and where she was at the Rising Phoenix, she got $50,000, $7,000 for most muscular, and a new car. Which this is Olympia, I think she should at least get $100,000.
Right.
Then you give second place, I would say 7,500, 50,000 to third. Then you give fourth, I would say 25,000. Then fifth gets 10, 15, and then you break down a little bit down to the others. Because and like I said, many ladies what they have to do, because I often ask questions like, what y'all ladies do after y'all, especially the ones that don't even get in the money part. He said, well, we have to do video. We do video and photo sessions, and I've mentioned that they pay you to $400 or $500 for that. And and then also with the a lot of companies that sell the videos, like I remember this company I used to love this company called US Muscles, and I used to sell they show the backstage videos, and I used to love when y'all pumping up, y'all getting oil, y'all getting ready, and that was the best part. Sometimes better than the show, watching young ladies getting ready and getting prepped. But like I said, that's the truth of it. The money that's coming from y'all for what y'all doing and and how y'all present yourself, it should be a little more.
Yeah,
just a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, since I've been in the game, it has not changed. So I'm going to be optimistic that it will. Like I said, maybe with Jake, ahead of the reins, it will change. He has put in the Phoenix. He has put in some other shows. He has upped the prize money. So let's, hope that it continues to go in that positive direction. The Olympia was sold out. Let's hope that it continues, to sell out again, and that the women, get more exposure. And, they don't have to rely as much on cam in sessions. You do that if you want to do it for extra money, but it's not something that you have to do because you got to pay your bills.
Yeah, that's the hard part about it, because with things going on and people, I think I follow certain cam sites, and I think that the girls have increased, because the fact is many of them can't do the sessions, they can't travel,
right?
And it's hard to, and it's how some of them make money so they can do the shows and stuff.
Right, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They travel so that they can do the shows, and then if you go on cam, I mean you're sitting there for an hour, maybe 30 or 40 minutes, hoping that somebody comes in your room and they take you private so you can make money, or that they tip you. And some of the guys are very generous, but some of the guys are cheap. It is what it is, and it's like,
because I'm friends with some of these ladies, and they tell me that because they get guys that come in there, they want a free flex, or and then sometimes they say that they're sitting in the free room and they're punching the munchkin, and and hey, wait a minute, man, if you're gonna do that, hey, at least get a little something for it,
Right.
If that, you might well just go and pop a videotape and watch the Miss International, if you're going to do that.
Right. But like I said, it's, like I said, when you do cam, you are sitting there, unless you go right into a premium, which means now they have to come in and pay you, but you're still just sitting there, but if you don't have any other option, and you're trying to make extra money, you got to sit there until somebody comes in your room. You may sit there for an hour and nobody comes in your room. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, because a lot of girls, I've now some who I follow, like Alicia Young and Virginia Sanchez. They do the OnlyFans, and I think they're getting away from the cam section because they can they, like I said, I heard that they take a percentage out of y'all pay when they do the cam, and it's just that's why they're doing the OnlyFans, because that's money they can put in your pocket.
Right,
that's their money. But it's just that's the side of any kind of sport. You have the light side, and you have the cringy, dirty side too.
Right.
It's just a fact of it. But
Yeah.
anyway, like I said, I know you got a busy day because you got your day off. I don't want to hold you up. I do really appreciate you coming and just dropping this knowledge. And anybody out there, like I said again, I have a PayPal in the description. And if you want to, send a little something just for, hey, thank you for her time. Like I said, she is a working lady, but it never hurts that, give a lady a little something for her time. Yeah. But like I said, like I said, I want to say this to you. Yes, you're a pretty woman. I want you to be Western's.
I appreciate you having me on. It's been a while, since I've had, an interview. A lot of people always ask me, like I said, when they message me, oh, do you still train? Do you still do this? So hopefully all those questions, have been answered, and they always want to know, what do you look like now? And I think a lot of them are curious to say, oh, I wonder if she still has any muscle, or does she look like she did before? No, I don't look like I did before, because that was almost 20 plus years. 2012 was my last show. Yeah.
That's 8 years.
Okay. So that was, 8 years, 8 years ago. I'm, older, more mature, but, I still do, I still do train. I still take care of myself, and, like I said, I appreciate you having me on. For everyone that came through, I appreciate it as well.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Because like I said, this is like a fanboy fantasy of mine to get to see you and get to talk with you. And that's why I really want to develop my channel, because, people don't really know about the sport. All they know is what they see. Yeah. And I want to give a face to y'all ladies, because that's why I said again, I am the emperor of female bodybuilding. And it's just, this is a sport that needs to be realized that I said again, you are athletes. Maybe not the athletes like, like these guys who play basketball, who walk away with like $30-50 million a year, but
Right.
You are athletes. You go out, you work, you follow diets, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And I respect your time. I respect you.
And at the end of the day, like I said, don't forget, yes, we are athletes. Yes, we have muscle, but we are also females. We're also females. Open my damn door. Don't just stand there,
Hold a lady's hand.
Yeah, we like those things. I mean, at least I do. I can't say for anybody else. Yes, I am a modern female, but if we both are at the door, I'm going to stand there. You're going to open my door, or else the door's not getting open.
Well, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we just gotta say this is from Beautiful Muscle Women. I follow him on IG. Much love, Nancy, and he's a big fan of yours, and he follows me on YouTube. Thank you, man. Thank you, appreciate that. But like I said, do you have anything? You want to say to anybody out there, or to fans, anybody, before we go?
Yeah, I just like to say that for everyone that's followed me as a female bodybuilder, for anyone who's followed the sport, I do appreciate you. I appreciate your support. I know a lot of you have been with me from the very beginning and know all my shows and everything that that I've done. A lot of you at one point thought I got married, and I never got married, never been married, don't have any kids. So a lot of them always wondered that.
Me too.
Did you really?
No, I never been. I'm more of I have how I say relations, but not relationships. And plus, no one's been knocking on my door and say we're gonna be on Maury's show.
Okay, so like I said, I want to say thank you, and that I appreciate your support through all these years. And I'm not so much on Facebook, but a lot of people, they message me, and I do message back. I am, coming back into the sport, meaning going more to the shows. I have some good friends that are, still compete. Janine Lankowski, she's my BFF.
Yeah, because I follow Janine on IG, and we talk back and forth. Because a while back she had a situation where she had a back problem when she was going to the Savannah Pro, and I checked she was all right. And Janine's pretty cool. Yeah, I like Janine. She seemed like a nice person.
So, like I said, we remain close. We don't live that far apart. So I stay in constant contact with her, and I know when she's doing her shows, and if I can go to the shows, I'll break away, and I'll head out to the show. But I really appreciate all the fans, all the people that admire what I've done and admire the sport of bodybuilding, and I hope to continue to have that support from you.
Or before we leave, we got Sky Horse Price. Crap, I missed most of it because it's only 12 noon in California. Quick shout out to Nancy for being so awesome. Hey Sky Horse, you can watch it later when they show the replays. You want to watch it? It's a great interview. It's fun. It's this is a great lady right here, and and to all you out here, and for one more time, one more pose for the schmoes so they can have a wet dream tonight.
Well, everyone is telling me that my chest is good, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, you have a great chest. I'm trying, I'm trying not to stare too much.
Well, so they always say,
Wow.
peg dance. So
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Yeah. So you guys right now, I hope you got your lotion and tissue out. Well, thank you for your time. I'm gonna let you go, and we appreciate it. It's just it's just, and like I said, she's on Facebook. Also, there's the her PayPal's under me if you want to send a little something, and also she's doing a charity for a friend. If you can donate, it's much appreciated. We're not asking a lot, but a little does help.
Right.
So,
And I want to close with this. Besides, like I said, being very grateful for my career, very appreciative and blessed with all the fans that I've had, the people that admire what I've done and admire the women in the sport. When it comes to the, fundraiser, if you can't do anything, at least share. And I can guarantee you that everybody knows somebody that got rid of an animal because they were old and they didn't want them anymore. That's what this Golden Year Sanctuary, that was the whole reason for buying this property. And so animals like that don't have to go to the shelter with possible euthanasia, so that animals like that can come here and live, bask in the sun, roll in the dirt, eat horse poop, or do whatever they do.
Dogs like eat horse shit. Dogs like eat horse shit too.
But do that before they pass on to the next to the next life. So that's what this is all about: taking those animals that no one wants to care for anymore because they're old and they're useless, and giving them a good send off, so to speak.
Well, like I said, we'd like to thank you, Miss Nancy F. What's the F stand for?
February.
Oh, February. Ooh, very fancy.
Yeah, February.
Well, in February, we thank you, Miss Nancy Lewis, for coming on. And I know I hope maybe someday we do this again. And it's just a great just to be around with a legend, a lady who just, I hate to say I caused many sticky magazines back in the day,
Hey, honest.
I gotta. They don't say, I speak my mind because biting my tongue hurts.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Miss Lewis. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everybody. Hit the like, hit her social media, and also if you can, like I said again, you can make a little donation. That's appreciated. Share the information with anybody else. There could be somebody out there who can help her friend and just really help out the animals. So, like I said, I hope you have a great day. Enjoy your video. And for Man Horse Price, one more pet dance, and we're out.
Oh my gosh! So what should it be? Oh, well, you know what? I think. Well, yeah, it's just going to be a.
That's good enough. Yeah, that's good enough for you, schmoes. So keep that in your spank tank. Thank you very much, lady. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye. Anyway, like I said, this was a great interview with a great person, and and I tell you, people out there, respect these women. They come a long way. This is a sport where they get they treat it not as well as it should be. And to you out there, if y'all follow social media, like reach out to Jake Wood. Jake Wood, tell him to increase the pay for female bodybuilders. Get at least next Miss Olympia, the Miss Olympia should at least like I'm not saying she should get $400,000 like Big Ramy, but at least $100,000. Because this, like I said, and I said before like this, when you see these ladies on the street and about, remember they're still women. Just because they have big muscles doesn't make them less women. Anyway, I like to appreciate y'all, for coming in, shedding the light. I like to appreciate my man, Coach Sir Harrison, for coming through. My man, Marcus Bell, my brother, Robert the Poet Savage, For my MMA Hawk, I like to put you too, Sky Horse. I'm sorry, man, you missed the show so early. You know, I know California's like a 12 different time from the East Coast, but hey, watch it again. Just watch it again. You can watch it in the ad libs, as they like to say. And yeah, it's a good show. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It was a good show, Marcus. Yeah, it was a good show. So anyway, like I said, like I said, I'm gonna end it off like this. This is your man, all the rage, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilder. Like, don't like, subscribe. I'm out.